This podcast is kindly sponsored by Euro Auctions. The next auction takes place in Dromore on the 20th and 21st of February 2026. Welcome to another episode of the Ice Expo podcast. Delighted to be joined today by Peter Finn, aka Pete the Builder, celebrity TV personality.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks so much for coming in, Peter.
Thank you, Danielle, yeah.
So, let's go back a bit. Where did it all start?
Well, we went to the same school, so we all go back that far. But so look, I just always loved the idea of working in construction. Always loved it. And I don't know how came my leaving cert. I probably could have went to college, and my mother would have loved if I had went to college. But I always had this idea of being on a roof, working, the sun is shining, and I'm driving nails into a rafter or into timber, and I just loved that idea. I was attracted to it. I always worked on farms and things like that when I was young as well. And then I was lucky enough to get an amazing apprenticeship of a builder who lived in Britis, and I got a really good building apprenticeship as well as a carpentry apprenticeship. So I served my time as a carpenter, but I literally learned how to build houses from a foundation right up to a finished house. So I'll always be very appreciative of Hugh Riley, who was my original boss. And then after that, then I went on and I went out, worked for myself. I worked in Trinity College for a while, and then I set up my own business, and then I got onto telly and became Pete the Builder.
And how did the social media all start?
Yeah, so I got asked to do Room to Improve many years ago with Dermot Bannon, and at that time it was the very first series of it, and no one had heard of Dermot Bannon or the show, and I met with Dermot and with Jane from Coco Television, and myself and my business partner submitted a price for the job, and we didn't know the concept. We were a bit nervous of the whole thing, and then we started the job, and I don't know what it was, but as soon as the camera was there, I was always really relaxed in front of the camera.
Right, okay.
It never really bothered me.
Yeah.
Put me in a room of 1,000 people, and I'd be much more nervous.
Yeah.
Put me in front of a camera that's going to I don't know how many people. It wouldn't bother me at all. So I always had that, which I think was a help. But anyway, then I ended up doing 8 episodes of Room to Improve.
Okay.
Over I think it was 6 series, and then I'd kind of been there and done that, and then we priced another couple of jobs. The series kept obviously going on.
Yeah.
And look, we'd kind of been there and done that, and you don't make money on those jobs, so you get a bit of profile, a very small amount of profile of it if you're a builder on it. And then we'd been on it 8 times, so we'd kind of been there and done that, and then didn't do it for a couple of years. And then I got a phone call from Jane again, and she said there was a spin-off show called Home Rescue,
right,
and would I be interested in doing it. So I did Home Rescue for the first 2 series, and at that stage social media had started to properly take off.
Yeah.
I'm really giving away my age now and how long I'm in television, but so people kept on saying to me, oh look, you need to reinforce your brand or your profile. Like, people were starting to recognize me a bit, and then people were saying, oh, you need to get on Instagram, and you need to get on. So I was on Facebook, but I've been honest, I just wasn't really into that type of thing. But then I think social media really took off, and then I could understand how it would help my brand. And then I said, right, look, I'm a dinosaur, but I have to.
You have to roll with it.
I have to roll with it. And Instagram in particular, I started to really enjoy, and I started kind of learning a bit more, and I got quicker at it, and then I started to enjoy it. But then I got very aware of my brand, and it was a niche.
Who came up with the name Pete the Builder?
I was working with this gang of Galway lads. They were roofers. Let It Rain is the name of their company, and they're good crack now. And we were doing this big job, and it's funny because some people call me Peter. Nearly everybody calls me Pete now, but a lot of people call me Pete. And this Galway lad, he used to always go, Pete, how's it going? And then he just one day went, Pete the Builder, how you doing? And I was like, that's got a ring to it. And every time he rang me, he'd go, how you, Pete the Builder? And I'd go, how you doing? And then when I was considering my brand, I actually went, you know what, that has a ring to it, and I like it. And that was it. Have
you faced much obstacles, I suppose, being online? Do you get...
Yeah. Look, having a profile, having a TV profile or having an online profile exposes you to the world, right? Yeah. And it is an amazing thing that, we could pick up our phones now and we could message somebody in New York, Japan, Mead, anywhere, all the tropical places. But you could, you can connect with people very quickly, and that's an amazing thing. And again, I'm sure that's what, when it was originally taught up, that was kind of the positives of it. But also the problem is that negative people out there can contact you back. Now, I've been very lucky that 99% of my exposure has been positive, but like let's be real about it. I'm working on a show where we go travel around the country and help people out who have got a serious need, and my profile is a very positive one, and I never post anything negative, and I would never be involved in anything like that. I'm not political in any way, so I don't get that kind of a backlash, but I have had very sporadic, random personal attacks, and when it first happened I was a bit like, oh, what did I do wrong, you know?
Yeah,
and then you go through all the emotions of shock, anger, get defensive, then you get a bit, what's going on here? And then eventually you just go, you know, who really cares? And I genuinely, it was actually my brother said to me one time, usually the person who's doing stuff like that is usually some lonely person in a room somewhere,
100%.
you know, and I'm very aware of that. So and another thing I've never done is I've never given it any fuel. So I very rarely would reply when somebody puts up something
That's the best
negative.
way to deal with it.
And I just ignore it. And to be totally honest, if there's anybody out there who wants to send me a negative message, you're just going to get a big block button straight away. And it just takes them out of your life. Just block them.
You'd wonder what mentality these people have. Like, look,
people have lots of things going on in their lives. I do find it a bit weird, the social media thing as well, because I've got a couple of really good fans and people that follow me and support me, and it's really, really nice, and it's really good. But I do think that they create a bit of an illusion of what your life is. I think people think that cameras follow me around all day, and my life is always on television. Like, no, like the TV stuff is literally 5% of my business, or maybe 10%, but that's it.
That's actually something. Like, how do you manage it all?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Obviously, you're running a business. Like, tell us a bit about your business.
Yeah, so MDS Construction is the name of my business. I have a business partner called Mark, and we've been together for a long time. In business terms, so I always have to clarify that. Both of us are married with kids, but look, I've always loved construction, and I got the opportunity to partner up with Mark, and we basically are what we call a middle-sized or medium-sized construction company. So we would do one-off houses, extensions, renovations. We're doing a good bit of commercial work now as well. We have a huge amount of experience. Both of us are carpenters, but both of us have a huge amount of experience in different aspects of construction, and in particular, conservation work. We've done a huge amount of work on old buildings. So that's our kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis. We have done a small bit of development as well. Recently, we've one very negative development, but we've had a couple of positive ones since. So look, it's interesting, and genuinely, you know, and this is the biggest thing. I love what I do. Like, I genuinely love what I do. Like, I'm here in my Snickers trousers and my t-shirt, and I'm second we're finished, I'm heading straight to a site, and I can't wait to get there. And you know, there's challenges there, and I love getting stuck in and getting my hands dirty myself. Obviously, I'm the owner of the business, or one of the owners of the business, so you know, you can only do so much, and you have to manage.
Of course. But
no, it's great. I love it, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really have any desire to do anything else.
So, like, let's say you are doing the day job, you're heading to a site now. Would you do like a little skit every day, or
no? I went through a period of time where I was doing a lot of them, and I did enjoy them, but they're extremely time consuming.
Of course they are,
especially to do something that's good. So probably about 3-4 years ago, I was doing a lot with Chadwick's, and I'd had a good few brand ambassadorships going on. But it is quite distracting, and I'm going to be honest. So some people set it up and they literally do it as a full-time job, and fair play to them. But it's relentless. Like, it's not easy, you know. The one thing I would say is that I've always been myself, and again, right from the start, I never tried to change who I am off camera to who I am on camera. Look, obviously you have to speak in a certain way, and you know what I mean, I probably use more bad language off camera than I do on camera, but you know, that type of thing is not what I'd call different. But I'm the Pete Finn or Pete the Builder that you see here is who you'd meet in the pub, and you know that,
of course, you know?
And I'm always true to myself on that, and I think that actually makes it easier to create content and to be myself online as well.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not trying to, because I tell you, it's exhausting trying to act. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's easy to act for 15 minutes. It's hard to act for an hour. It's really difficult to act all day, every day for the rest of your life. Like, do you know what I mean? So I feel sorry for people who do try and do that when they're setting up their profile, let's say online, and they kind of go, okay, do you know what would work well is if I pretend I am somebody else, and then they have to be that person, and I think it consumes them, and they end up sort of half becoming that person. But I don't think they ever really then can enjoy something in that, because it's always a challenge. Whereas for me, first of all, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to construction. So I'm not going to pretend to be Pete the mechanic because I don't know anything about cars.
Course, yeah.
But you ask me about most things in construction and I'll either have a very good idea of it or I'll be able to find out very quickly, and I'd be very confident talking about it. There's a good chance that I've come across it. So that makes my content very easy for me to create. You have to move with it. I throw out the odd controversial one just for the crack, and I love playing with it a little bit, like, do you know what I mean, and just seeing what goes well.
But I think it's great. You always have a bit of banter going on in the You have to.
Like,
but you are naturally like that.
Yeah, I love a bit of crack, and I always have. I'm very competitive. You know that from you've seen me playing football. But I'm definitely. I won't apologise for wanting to do well for myself in my business. Yeah. But I also understand that, like, you can have a bit of crack while you're working hard.
Of course.
You don't have to be this serious person that's giving out to everybody. And I probably was guilty of that at times where I took things too serious and I threw my emotions around. But I think a long time ago, I was a fiery redhead when I was a young lad. But I did. I've gone strawberry blonde now. I've mellowed. But I have realised that, you know, communication is key. And you can't expect someone to understand what to do unless you explain it to them properly. Yeah. And I've got good at that. And I also have no problem with lads having a bit of crack. Absolutely no problem. But then there's time to, right, crack is over, let's work. Yeah. So I do have a...
The way I'd look at things, though, a lot of the time is, you know, have fun, have the crack, just once the work's done.
100%.
I think that is the attitude.
Once it's done to a good standard, the way that you've asked someone to do it, because that's the way the client or the architect wants it done, and they've done it in a timely manner, you know, they've done it correctly. Whatever happens in between is up to them. And this is another thing that I learned a long time ago as well, is one carpenter or one plasterer or one tradesperson will do a job a certain way. One driver will drive a machine a certain way, and then another one will drive it slightly different, or one, you know, they'll do the job slightly different. Yeah. Once the end result is the same and nobody gets hurt and there's no damage done, who cares? Yeah. And I often see fellas that go, no, you should be doing this on the right or on the left. Let the fella, especially if they're experienced, let someone give someone the freedom to actually express themselves and show what they can do. And I think a lot of people are guilty of not letting that happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Has there ever been one piece of content that you created that I suppose went viral and exploded and you were...
Oh, well, there's one very obvious one, which is the Galway races one. Yeah, that was mental. I've had 2 or 3 really good ones. Again, a couple of the ones that I did with Chadwick's got huge viewing. I was on Hell Week years ago, and I done a Hell Week skit with... John McGuckin, and that got huge reaction, and it was really good. It was great fun and very well edited and very well done. So I really enjoyed that one. But the Galway races one was I thought that up as I was walking across to meet Alan Clark.
Stop.
No messing. So myself and my wife, just being honest, we always have this bit of crack where I know that you're into horses as well, but my wife has horses, and she will be, you know, look, I'm heading off for a ride, and I go, you heading off for a ride, are you? And she say, I am. And I go, all right, well, hope you enjoy your ride, you know. Just banter, you know, and we've repeated this same banter for nearly 15 years now. So anyway, I knew I was meeting Alan that day to do the interview, and I said to Sharon, I just said, listen, well, I have to crack about, you know, the riding thing. And she was like, oh, be careful. And I was like, I know it's a fine line. And that was as much as I said to her. Yeah. And Sharon was with me, just standing off camera when I was being interviewed. And I walked up and I actually said to myself, you know what, I'm just going to, the first thing that was in my head was, I said, I'm just going to keep saying the word riding for the crack. Because you know what, that's a real Irish joke.
100%.
Like if you speak to an American fella, go, Jesus, your man was off riding. They'd be going, what was he doing? Was he riding a horse or a bike, you know? Whereas in Ireland, they'd be like, oh yeah, fair play to you type thing, you know? So anyway, that one flowed. And in fairness to Alan, he was great. His eyes lit up as soon as I started, and he rolled with it, and he posted it that night, and it got something like 5 million views at the time. And then the Galway races came around. 5 million views, yeah, and that was only on Instagram, and that was like we collaborated on that one, and then somebody else posted it, and it just went on. Then it went on to TikTok, and I'm on TikTok, but I don't really do TikTok as much. I should probably do a bit more. I don't enjoy it as much as Instagram. But then this year, somebody took it and they kept on zooming in on my face, because I oblivious to myself, as I was talking, I would say something to him, and then I turn and I'd look at the camera and I kind of would Not like that. Totally. I was conscious I was doing it, but I didn't realise it was having such an effect. You know what I mean? And the guy who did it this year for the Galway races, like, was zooming in on my face, and I'm going, you know, like this. It was really good. So that one was great fun. Thankfully, Sharon was there, so I didn't get in trouble. But the amount of people that have said that to me since has been a lot. You know, so that was great crack. Do you know?
But it just shows you, though, it was authentic, and that's you.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. And I think that they're the kind of skits that work.
That's the kind of crack that I would have with my mates. Do you know what I mean? You know, again, silly old boyish banter.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, great crack, you know, and no harm done, nobody hurt. And again, it's very difficult to recreate that in a false way. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't tell Alan I was going to do this.
Right.
And
okay.
His face was just like this, you know, and then it just and it's funny because as I started saying it, I didn't really know what I was going to say next, and I obviously didn't know what question he was going to ask me. So, but when I look back at it, I went, "Oh my God, I came up with some great one-liners there," you know. But yeah, go crack, and again, it's all a bit of fun.
This podcast is kindly sponsored by Euro Auctions. The next auction takes place in Dromore on the 20th and 21st of February, 2026. Who have you enjoyed working with in the past, doing skit videos and that kind of thing? Like, who stands out to? Yeah,
John McGuckin has to be a bit of a legend in that field. You know what I mean? Like, he's a comedian, he's an actor, and he does a huge amount of social media stuff. And some of the ideas he comes up with are hilarious. We done one thing where it was mad when I think about it. So it was one of the lads from the Hardy books was in it as well, and he was the elf. So it was a Christmas one, right? So I can't think of the chap's name. Oh my God, he'll kill me when he sees me now. But anyway, he was the elf outside the Christmas. You're going in to see Santa Claus. So John McGuckin is Santa, and he's this big old false beard on him, and I'm there with my kid going in, and you know the way, you ever see that thing where people are waiting for hours and everybody's getting really annoyed waiting for the Santa visit and all this type of stuff. So I started having a bit of a go at the elf, and he's real rude back to me, and we've this kind of a thing going on, and you kind of feel as though it's all going to be real angry. But then when I walked in, I see Santa, and I'm like, and I turn into a child, and I kind of push my own kid away, and I jump on top of Santa and all this type of stuff, and then the elf and all that. So John McGuckin thought all of that up. Then we improvised a little bit on the day,
of course,
but that was funny now, and he's brilliant. Like, he
was this for Lovewoods, obviously?
No, it wasn't. No. It was actually for Chadwick's again.
Oh, and, right, okay.
So there wasn't much construction in it, but it was an idea that came up, and in fairness to Chadwick's, they were very good at pushing those type of marketing things, and again that got huge views, and it got banned off TikTok because they said that there was violent content into it. That was me jumping on Santi, but you know, that was good crack, and he's very good. So working with Joe was good. But you know what? There's a lot of really good people out there, and there's a lot of really good content creators. I've met loads of people that, like, you know, do it on a daily basis. Like, as I said there, Alan Clark is excellent as well. I've actually, I know Will A. White as well. He's hilarious. He's really good crack. So no, look, there's lots of really good people out there, and I always do find that I think the stuff that's easy to do is the best, you know.
100%,
yeah. So that's the type of stuff that I enjoy doing, and obviously it's like anything. If you're relaxed doing it, it'll come across better, you know.
Do you think the likes of social media, like the likes of Instagram, you know, you're saying you like it now, TikTok obviously has exploded, but do you think it changes the way the audience perceive construction?
Yeah, I do. I think it's actually, so look, let's be totally honest, there was a stereotypical view of construction out there that all builders had builders' arses and were a bit smelly and ate breakfast rolls and were trying to rip you off and all that type of stuff. And, you know, being honest, there probably was a reason why that stereotype kind of came out. But I do think the new age builder, look, I'm not young, but I'm certainly, you know, I'm aware that, like, builders communicate now, whereas they didn't. So the old thing was, don't worry about it, I'll do it, and that's how much it's going to cost you, and that's it. And in the old days, that's kind of was okay. And construction, and I'm not being disrespectful here, I'm just being honest, was quite simple back then. It was build blocks, it was put a roof on. Insulation wasn't really a thing. Ventilation was definitely not a thing. Electrics was just turn on the light on the socket. Like, you look at where we are now in construction now, the technology in construction, the technology in the machinery, like the Ice Expo, like I was walking around with my jaw up and going, look at the amount of stuff here and the ability that the equipment had. Like, it's just phenomenal. So I think that technology in construction has evolved, but I also think us as humans and us as builders have evolved. There's much more women working in construction now, whereas back in the day that was absolutely not not a thing. So I think the whole industry has changed for the better. Technology wise, it's gone through the roof. The ability that your tools can like the tools are so accurate and so fast now. They've definitely increased the quality of finish, and I say this and I mean this: the quality of workmanship and tradespersonship, I should say, to get it right, because it's male and female, in Ireland is phenomenal and always has been. Yeah. We always go to the World Trades skills and finish in the top 3, 4, 5 all the time. Like not once every now and then, all the time, and not in one trade, in loads of trades. Yeah, so brilliant. We always outperform in certain aspects of life. Like look at our rugby team, all that type of stuff as well. Horse riding, look how good we are at it. But also when it comes to construction, look, we built America, we've built so many different places. Like Australia is being built by so many Irish now, and I'd love to see those trades and those skills staying at home a bit more, and I'd love to see, and I think our industry is starting to get a little bit more credit than it used to be. Like here's the thing that does annoy me a little bit is that, you know, when you ask about the perception of somebody in construction, if you go to Australia, like a tradie is what they call you, and you're like, fair play to you, and you're valued, like, do you know what I mean? Because for whatever reason they valued it differently. If you go to Germany, a tradesperson in Germany is treated like somebody in the medical industry. They're given so much respect. Their wages is nearly on par. And rightly so. Whereas in Ireland, I do think it was kind of the kind of thing though, look, if you're a bit thick in school, you're going to end up, you know, pushing a wheelbarrow. And I think that was wrong. And I do think, like, even my own parents, my mum in particular, she really wanted me to go to college. Yeah. And I used to always say to her, she said, oh, look, you know, you could be an engineer or whatever. And I probably could have been. If I had worked really hard and I'd committed myself to it, I probably could have, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. Like, I'm not an office person. There's no point in doing something that you're not interested in. And I am interested in engineering. I love seeing the way things work, and I love I love putting the building together in my own head. When I'm speaking to engineers, I love sparking off them and I can understand what they're saying. But could I sit down and do all that maths, and could I be stuck in an office? Absolutely not. So I used to always say to them, I would say, listen, you know, the doctors and the engineers and all those people, they're going to need houses, and guess who's going to build them for me? I will. That's lovely. So that was my little answer. And she's finally accepted me as being a builder now, you know.
Do you know what I think is brilliant though? It's the crack. Like I'll actually tell you a quick story. So brother of mine, Darren, he used to work for Ascon at the time, and he specialised in tower cranes.
Brilliant.
But one day anyway, he was heading down the country and he pulled in, he was in a white van and he pulled into a garage. So anyway, next thing he was sitting there and he came out and he was sitting there at the van, and next thing a young lad runs out and there was 2 white vans. And Darren's sitting there. Next thing, this lad just jumped in with his breakfast roll and sits there. And Darren turns around and looks at him and goes, "You're right there." And your man's like, "Are we ready to go?" And him in the wrong van. But it's always the crack on site. Like, have you any funny stories on site?
There's loads of them. Like it used to be quite bad years ago. Just stuff people. Like, I can remember there was one lad who used to come in with his lunch all the time, and his wife always made the lunch, and the lad's got a girl's magazine, let's just say, and put it into his bag, because he'd literally come home and he'd just literally put it up on the table, and he'd come in the next day going mad, and just said, "Which one of you did it?" So obviously the missus opened up the bag, his lunch bag, found the magazine there, you know. There was another one where we had these toilers that worked for us, and both of them were deaf and dumb, and honestly, this is the God's honest truth. Exceptionally good, like, I mean exceptionally good, but you had to communicate with them through sign language, which I don't know, or writing on the wall. But they could also read lip, you know, or lip read. So I, you know, when you're talking to them, you'd be kind of looking them straight in the eye. And for some reason, everyone, when they're talking to deaf people, they raise their voice, you know. So you'd be like, "We need to do the tiling inside," and he used to always go, "I'm deaf, not stupid." He'd lip read that back, or he'd write it on the wall, you know. Absolutely brilliant. But one day, one of the lads came in, Paddy's his name, he came in and he just went over and he goes, "Bop, bop, 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 bop." And I was like, "What are you saying, Paddy?" And he starts showing me he needed a nail. And he's like, "Bop, bop, bop." And I says, "Do you need a nail?" And he goes like this, right? So I got him some nails, and I said, are they the right size? And he goes, okay. So he goes off, and the next minute the other fella comes in and he goes, "Bing, bing, bing, bing."
Oh my God.
Says, "You needed smaller nails," and he goes, "Yeah." So that type of stuff, like, how could you not laugh?
But they were gifted at what they did.
Oh, phenomenal. Now, I mean, the finish was just phenomenal. And as cute as two foxes, I can tell you as well. That you know, people think, oh, the poor guys, they're deaf and dumb. They would buy and sell you.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, great lads and great crack as well. And they enjoyed the crack. And they'd often set the crack up where they'd be like, you know what I mean? You know, oh, he offended me because I'm deaf and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Just totally having the crack, you know. So look, and I love that banter and I love that kind of inclusivity, you know.
That's brilliant. So are you looking forward to the Ice Expo this year?
Yeah, like genuinely, it was some crack last year, and it was so well attended. Oh my God, fair play to you or some woman, because, you know, like when I heard about it, I was like, that's great, and I'm sure, I hope it goes well for her, and I'm sure it will. But then when I seen what you actually managed to achieve, it was phenomenal, and it was a brilliant. There was a load of things that I really enjoyed in it. Obviously, seeing all that amazing machinery was unreal. The variation in the different sizes, the different types, the different brands of machinery, the different functions of all the machinery. And while you're here looking at all this brand new stuff, in the background, here's a rock crusher crushing rocks with about 20 lads standing there looking at it, talking about it. I done the Connect 4 competition, which was absolutely hilarious, great fun. I really enjoyed doing that. You had roving reporters, you had so much going on, and it was, I said to myself, look, I'm in construction, obviously, but I'm not like heavily entrenched in the machinery. So I said to myself, I know a lot of lads like Billy Dunhue and fellas like that from Tipper Services, and I know a lot of his lads that work. So I said I'll probably meet a few people I knew. Sure, I knew hundreds of people, and the feedback that we got, and just the crack that was on there on a daily basis was amazing. But also the quality was excellent, you know, and look, I think a lot of people got out of it. I know the business that was done at that event was
incredible now.
Ridiculous, like it was such a, so fair play to you. It was a serious thing to pull off, but you really did it, and you did it. You can either do something or you can do it really well, and Ice was done really well, and fair play to you for that. And look, I like to connect with really positive brands, and obviously Ice is a phenomenally positive brand, and it's a very unique one as well, because I'm pretty sure it was one of the only events that does what it does. Am I right in saying that? Kind of, yeah. I'm sure there's similar.
Yeah, there is a few different shows out there, but it's
but there's loads in England, and I know and that's the feedback that I got, was that a lot of lads were saying, I normally have to travel to Scotland or to England or to Wales or to further afield even,
and like that gives such an expense on companies, because you have to think about, like, you see the size of the machines, and then they have to transport them. You know, like I was actually talking to a lad yesterday, and you know, the cost of the show to exhibit was nothing compared to what it cost him to actually bring the machines over, like transport costs alone, hotels, you know, so it is great to have it in Ireland.
Absolutely.
But look, it's a whole team effort. The exhibitors, the support that the industry gives it is incredible. Like, I think there's only 6 stands left outside already. Like, now we are obviously, I have a meeting with them later today. We're going to look at expanding.
Isn't that great?
But
like,
it is great.
But you're dead right in what you said there, in that, you know, the cost involved in doing that, like, you know, because you're going to have to employ people to drive those machines as well if you're the business owner. The downtime that you have in your own job, the commitment that it takes from a business owner to do all of those things. And look, our industry, especially when it comes to machinery, like, we're doing such a huge infrastructure upgrade in our country, and badly needed. And by that I mean, like, obviously the telecoms that's going on, the Wi-Fi systems that are going in, Irish water, storage. There's so much happening, and that's before you even start on the new roads and all of that type of stuff. So there's so much of that stuff happening that, and again, I mentioned the technology uplifts in construction in general, but if you get into a machine these days, it's literally a computer, and the accuracy, the speed, the safety, it's phenomenal. And until you experience it and you see it, it's hard to actually fully understand it. So for if you're a business owner and you're looking to buy a machine, you're able to come to the Ice Expo and you're able to get into 6 of the exact same similar type machines, and you can actually sit there and, you know, go to yourself, well, actually, do you know what, I thought that I was going to like this one, but I actually like that one. You're able to go over and meet the fella who owns the company and do a deal with him there and there. Like, that's very unique. It's really unique. Like, there's loads of exhibitions all over the country, but usually you turn up and there's a stand and there's a few free things to be given out and all that type of stuff. And that still goes on at Ice Expo, but this is different. This is a different level. This is really grassroots is what I'd call it. I think the timing of it was great. So look, there's so much positive stuff going on, and well done to you and the team.
Yeah, no, it is good. And we've even, look, obviously our main thing is to keep improving. We've designed and developed an app this year for all the exhibitors, which is great. So they will be able to just scan everyone's badges, and automatically all leads are stored and they can access them then after the show. Do you know, every year is going to be improving it again. We have the tyre changing challenge.
That looks deadly.
So that's going to be exciting as well. So. No, onwards and upwards, but no, we're delighted to have you on board too.
Are we bringing Connect 4 back?
Connect 4, of course, Connect 4 is back.
Absolutely. Remember the chap that won it? Like he was 21 that day.
That day was his birthday, yeah.
I was having some crack now. I was like having the crack, and he was a really good looking fella, you know what I mean? He was a good good looking guy. And the very first thing I said to him was, I says, you're too good looking to be a machine driver. I says, I didn't know, and I says, I bet your dad owns the company, and all his mates broke their heads laughing. And there was the dad standing over there. No way. And I'm going to be honest now, and this sounds terrible, I said to myself, he's probably not going to be a great driver. He was a legend. He was incredible. Unbelievable. The accuracy and the speed of him, and real relaxed. And I was putting them off, like I was having the crack, like they could hear me on the microphone, you know what I mean? And I would get a little bit of information off the lads and have the crack. When he told me he was 21, I was going, I knew that right from his very first game, because obviously he had to win, I think, 4 or 5 games to win the money. Yeah. And then when he got to the semi-final, I was like, his 21st is on tonight. And then I turned around and said, and if he wins, everyone's invited to the 21st. And his dad was like that. No, they're not, you know.
I didn't get the memo. I didn't get an invite.
Did you that? Well, he won, and
but it was a handy $5,000 for him now.
I tell you, savage.
So obviously we're going to do that again.
Yeah,
and,
class.
No, it was incredible now.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice someone in the trade has given you? More on a personal level, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the best piece of advice that I've ever been given. It's relative to life, it's relative to construction, it's relative to anything that you do in your life. And it's so simple, and it's just stay consistent. Like I'm good friends with John Kavanagh, who's Conor McGregor's coach.
All right.
And he loves that saying. He just said, guess who's the luckiest guy in the gym? The guy who turns up every day and just doesn't stop training. Guess who's the guy who ends up improving all the time? It's the guy who turns up every day and just keeps improving. And he's got guys in his gym that win world titles, and literally 2 days later they're back in the gym again.
That's
and
incredible.
That if you can bring that into your life in anything, if you consistently study, guess what? You're going to get more intelligent. If you can consistently run, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get faster. If you consistently go to the gym, you're going to get fitter. If you consistently do anything in life, you will get better at it, you will improve, and you'll see the results. So that's the best piece of advice I ever got. And then the other one that I really do think most people in life should take with them is, this too will pass. It was Marcus Aurelius. Everyone remembers him from Gladiator, but the real Marcus Aurelius was actually a philosopher. And I was training for Hell Week. I'd done the Hell Week TV show, which was amazing, a phenomenal experience. But you put yourself into some really dark places there. And I was actually advised to listen to some of Marcus Aurelius's stuff, which sounds a bit mad, but it's philosophy. It's very simple stuff. I used to just, while I was walking or while I was running or while I was putting myself into some extreme situations of training, I would listen to it. And he had this saying, which is, this too will pass. So it doesn't matter what situation you're in, right? And look, we've an awful lot of mental health issues going on, and unfortunately we have a huge suicide numbers going on in our country, which is terrible. And look, I like to do, as much as I can to try and help in those situations. But I just think if everybody could have that little philosophy in them, because there's moments where you're top of the world, you're on television, you're playing for the Dublin Masters, everything is going great for you. And then there's moments where you can't pay your bills, you're struggling to get money in, it's a shit show. But you know what? The good times pass, and so do the bad times. And if you can just stay consistent and enjoy don't get me wrong, enjoy them, enjoy the good times. Yeah. And I always say to fellas, if you score a goal, celebrate.
Enjoy the wins.
Enjoy the wins. Don't go crazy. Don't be big time charity, but don't be worried about the low times. Learn from them. If you keep on going on and making the same mistake, again and again and again, that's a bit stupid.
Yeah,
you need to think about that. But everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes bad choices. That doesn't define you. What defines you is how you recover and how you get on. And this too will pass. It'll never be that bad. It'll never be that good. So I'm not trying to be that fella in the middle. What I'm saying is there's always another day. There's always another way around things. There's always ways. So don't be, if anybody's ever got any dark thoughts of that, try your best to just say that this too will pass, because it will. Believe it or not, you'll think everybody's against you. You'll think the world is falling apart. You'll think you're never going to be able to pay your bills.
Yeah, of course.
A year later, you'll look back and go, jeez, that was mad. And look at me now. I'm okay. I'm in a good place now. And there you go. There's my moment of emotion. Didn't think we were going to go there, but we did.
So I suppose, looking to the future, what is the future for Pete the Builder?
Global domination, I suppose, No, look, I really enjoy what I do. I'm very lucky,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to keep doing more of the same and improve a little bit here, add a little bit there.
Yeah.
I've 3 beautiful children. I have a gorgeous wife. I want to have a happy life with them. I want to provide for them. So I'm working hard every day to earn money to be able to go on a few holidays and be able to keep 4 women on the go is not easy.
I'd say it's not.
No, it's not. But no, look, I really enjoy the TV show. It's an extremely positive thing to be involved in.
Yeah.
It looks like that's going to go ahead again as well, which
That's
is great.
brilliant.
I have a few other little offers here and there. I love working. I love being busy. I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
I always know there's room for improvement, and robbing that from Dermot Bannon. There's always room to improve, but there's always another little thing happening. Like I'm 50 this year, and I'm still got loads of different. Well, I'm actually 50 already. I'm 51 this year, but I've never seen age or anything like that has ever been a problem, and there's always new goals, and I think that's important for people. You should always set yourself a goal, and again, you know, sometimes you don't get to the goal, but getting even 3/4 of the way can be a great ride and can really bring you know, can be exciting and can be very beneficial, and you probably improve your situation as well. So I have a few things on the line. There's somebody talking to me about a book which could be interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit of my personal stuff, but a lot of it would be about giving DIY tips and, you know, because people have a huge interest in construction, and that's why the likes of the TV shows are so popular and,
100%.
you know, get so well viewed. So look, I've loads on the go. I've a few little social media ideas that I'm going to have a bit of fun with as well over the year and that type of stuff. And yeah, that's it. I do jiu-jitsu and I want to get me next. I want to improve. I'm a blue belt now. I want to improve on that as well. So I've loads of little things on the go, and I have Lugwoods, which is another company that I'm involved in as well. And we put a huge investment into.
I've seen it. It's incredible what you've pulled together.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Some amount of work went into that.
Oh my God,
God.
So basically, Lugwoods was up and running 10 years in 2025, and we made a very conscious decision that we were going to reinvest in it. It was an excellent experience, and we've always leaned into the authenticity of Christmas. So we want that magical moment of families having that lovely connection together as a family for Christmas, with that proper Christmas feeling, a real Santa Claus, and you know, that kind of beautiful family connection that only Christmas can bring. And there's lots of good Christmas experiences out there, but none of them were doing what we could do. So we have a real forest, we have proper log cabins, we've got proper actors in to do the stuff. We have an amazing Santa Claus. We have got.
You have to say Elaine is some woman for one woman.
Yeah, so Elaine is one of my partners in it, and she's excellent. She's a very, very strong, driven woman. And look, between me and Elaine, we really pushed everything this year. She obviously was the main driving force in it, and then like we completely reinvested in the buildings, in the costumes, in everything, and we have what I can only describe as an absolutely phenomenal experience. And if anybody is listening to this podcast and has not been to Lugwoods, get a child from somewhere, but go up. Like, it's high end. Like it's
incredible. The views. You wouldn't see that anywhere.
No, you wouldn't. It's stunning. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, we basically are in a forest that overlooks pretty much the whole of Dublin city. It has a phenomenal view actually, because Kildare has actually, like, the view has changed because Kildare's got so big now. You can see so much, so you can see Dublin all the way across, and on a clear day you can see so far. So it's a phenomenal view, which is kind of like the cherry on top of everything else, because we really put a lot of effort and we really got good at delivering an experience. So it's an emotional experience. There's always a challenge involved, so the families have to together work through. You meet the Grinch, you meet so many amazing characters, and it's great.
What's the plan, Peter? Is there an Easter event?
Yeah, so we do Easter, Halloween and Christmas every year, and we have a new train that we got this year as well, so people actually get a train ride through the forest as well. So we're going to keep that as well for Easter. So there's going to be lots of characters, lots of everyone will obviously get an Easter bunny egg and meet the Easter bunny, and then they'll get a train ride through the forest, and they've got lots of little challenges to compete, and then it all comes together up at the very top with a view of the city. And again, springtime in Lugwoods is phenomenal. The forest is grown. It's just such a beautiful experience. And then we have Halloween, which was really good for us last year as well. And then of course Christmas is the big one. So Christmas 2026, you have to go to Lugwoods.
Yeah, 100%. So where do people get tickets, or how?
Basically, go to the website. We're not on sale for Christmas just yet, but our Easter tickets will be going on soon. Our Christmas tickets, believe it or not, go on sale in July, and they sell like hotcakes. They really do, because it is definitely the best event. And people, like, you know, like your friends will come and go, that was really good, well done. They came this year and they were like, oh my God, that was phenomenal. And then just the feedback that we've got.
I have to say it's a
over
credit
the
to the
years.
team, the effort that you put in. It was
Thank you very much.
really phenomenal.
Thank you.
So well done. Right, Pete, well look, thanks very much for coming in, and I suppose we look forward to seeing you at Ice Expo this year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, I know you're going to have me doing all sorts of mad stuff. So if you're at Ice Expo, which you should be, make sure you keep an eye out for me, because I'll be doing all sorts of stuff for Danielle and the team. We're going to have a great bit of crack, probably have prizes to give away.
Of course.
Let's do this for construction.
Thanks a million, Pete.
Cheers.
This podcast is kindly sponsored by Euro Auctions. The next auction takes place in Dromore on the 20th and 21st of February 2026.